When I get up in the morning, I see about 30 rabbits outside my kitchen window having their breakfast, you know.
You never turn your back on the rabbit, especially in central Otago.
Once you get to plague proportions, the destruction happens in front of your eyes.
It's an absolute ecological disaster. I mean, you know, it's out of control.
So is it worse than it's ever been?
At the moment, it's as bad as it's ever been, without a doubt. You go out into the paddock and they're everywhere. There's no hot spots, you know, there's nowhere I could say this place is worse than that place because they're just simply everywhere. I'm Philip Bunn. I farm deer in the Wakatipu Basin and rabbits are the bane of my life. It's costing the country massive amounts, you know, in lost production, and then in rabbit control, time, money, effort.
So what sort of damage have you seen?
Oh, the damage they can do is quite incredible. You know, the burrows they dig, they can be massive. And you go up onto the hills and banks and places, they can cause massive amounts of erosion. They actually change the pH of the soil to the point where grass doesn't grow, so to get it back to a normal level would require aerial top dressing, etc., which is quite expensive and in reality not overly worth it given the amount of rabbits that are there and what you're going to achieve.
So are there parts of the farm that you've just kind of kissed goodbye to, so to speak?
Yeah, some of the hill country definitely, yes.
You've just gone,
it's just kind of like it's not worth doing anything to it. It's the animals can go and live up there, but really the feed value and what it produces is pretty much nothing.
And is it doing your head in?
Yeah, it does do my head in. It's quite incredible how many you'll see 2 or 3 rabbits sitting outside of a hole, but you know there's actually 10, 15, 20 living in that hole.
So the whole place is crawling underneath?
So the whole place is crawling underneath. You know, around here you go up with the night vision goggle at night and the paddock's just hopping.
So is there some sort of cohesive plan, or is everyone just like willy-nilly?
There's no cohesive plan at all. Everybody does their own thing, is essentially what it is, and some people do a lot, some people do absolutely nothing, and some people do something. And it is a massive problem. It's a massive problem all over the country, really. You know, the Otago Regional Council here are supposed to come and tell us, and they do come and tell us that we need to do something, but that's all they do. And they really have no idea. If you go up and down, you know, out around our neighbours here, there's people that do a lot, there's people that do absolutely nothing. And the rabbits just move back in.
So it's all just must feel like a bit of a waste of time sometimes?
It really does feel like a waste of time all of the time.
And it's no different in the central South Island. Farmers are sending us videos from their part of the world showing just how bad the rabbit plague is.
You never turn your back on the rabbit, especially in central Otago. Up here they live in tussock and the thyme and the rock. And what happens with shooting is you've got to do it consistently. You can't just go through a block and shoot it once and shoot 200 rabbits off and think you've done a good job. You've got to go back and back and back and back and back. I'm Robert Andrews and I've been chasing rabbits for over 30 years. And if we don't get control of them, we're facing a major ecological disaster. You see the fence line, which is a boundary. On the right side of the drone, as we're flying down that fence line, you can see the grass is 6 to 8 inches high, and that's ground cover. That's 31 years of rabbit control on that property. You see on the left side of the fence that the ground is basically bare and just weeds, briar,
And rabbits.
and rabbits, and that's all rabbits. There's no grass there. That's just basically weeds, and that ground is basically buggered for any sort of farming. You've got to remember, like in the late 80s, early 90s, there were guys that if they hadn't got on top of the rabbits, would have been very close to walking off the farm, not being able to make a living.
Well, they did, didn't they?
Well, some did, yeah, some did. None of the guys I actually worked for did. Most of them, they all survived. But some were very, very close because their stock numbers are coming back each year, and it comes to a point where it's
Not viable.
not viable.
So the rabbits win.
The rabbits win. It is going back to that level again, and
When you say that level,
well, the numbers are going to keep building up, and they've got to go somewhere, and they've got to eat something, and they'll chew the ground off. It's just like that stuff I showed you there before. The whole of Central Otago could look like that, and then you get the wind blowing, the dirt blows away.
so that's where we're heading.
I think that's where we're heading if we don't keep on top of it.
But it does seem, though, that there's no plan because the rabbits are all over there,
Well, now I see
and
it's
they're going to come over here.
The Otago Regional Council are supposed to be doing enforcement. Now, they have, theoretically, they can go to a farmer and say, you've got too many rabbits, you've got to do the work, and if you don't do it, we'll come in and send someone in and we'll send you the bill.
And?
Well, we've got rabbits, lifestyle blocks all full of rabbits, they've never done anything about that. There's hill country places that have got a lot of rabbits, they've done nothing about that. What have they done for the last 10 years? Sat on their frickin' asses.
And now what have we got? Rabbits.
Rabbits.
Everywhere.
And you got regional council guys who I don't, maybe they got a picture of a rabbit hanging up in their office so they know what one looks like. I don't know.
We just haven't had the resource to run a good program, enforcement program that is.
And is that political or what? Why is that?
I think it really came out of at the end of 2016 we had a business unit in existence that did a lot of work for farmers. I mean, they contracted to farmers to undertake rabbit control work, and the regional council at that stage had capacity to undertake inspection work and what have you, as well as the control work. Once we lost that, we really just lost capacity to get out there and have an effective inspection program.
Richard Lord's honest appraisal of the rabbit situation is refreshingly lacking in PR spin. He agrees there's a major problem, but denies it's a rabbit plague. But it's the farmers that are telling me that they're at plague proportions. And it's the farmers that are telling me, with all due respect, that the regional council have no teeth, no equipment, no money, and no bloody idea.
Well, we've certainly got lots of ideas. Yeah.
Because what we're hearing is that there is no cohesive plan and there seems to be a lack of enforcement.
Okay, we got our new regional pest plan. It got adopted by council in November 2019, and we've got new enforcement compliance procedures in there. Our rules are a lot simpler to enforce than what they were under the previous plan. If the worst case scenario occurred, a notice of direction would be issued, which is a legal requirement issued to that landowner. And if they don't comply with that notice of direction, you've got the choice of undertaking that work yourself, and the cost is put upon the landowner, or you can prosecute. But prosecute doesn't really achieve
And how many times have you prosecuted people in Otago?
We have never undertaken a rabbit prosecution.
Do you think maybe you need to?
Well, we have undertaken default work.
How often have you done that?
It's really, to be honest, only a handful of times as well on that front. Yeah.
Do you think you need to get a bit more staunch?
Oh, I think under our new plan we will. I mean, to be serious, if we're serious, we have to.
It's an absolute ecological disaster. I mean, it's out of control.
Everyone's had a guts full.
These things are producing 50 to 60 babies a year per rabbit, and they breed every 28 days. I mean, you do the maths, it's insane.